Well, hey everybody, it's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. And for Nanny Bubby, it's time for me to spend time with you, something I look forward to every day. Just want to say how fantastic was yesterday. Those of you that joined us for the Temecula Olive Oil tour of the Olive Ranch, as well as the interview with Tom Curry. It was just absolutely amazing. Hey, Roseanne, how are you? Nice to see you. How fun was yesterday? Thumbs up on yesterday, right? It was just amazingly fantastic. And it just was thrilling. By the way, it was literally freezing in Southern California yesterday, raining all day long. And just before 3 o'clock, when we got ready to do the interview, the clouds parted and the sun came out. It was warm, it was beautiful, and it started getting cloudy just as we ended. So it really turned out beautiful. If anybody has not seen that interview, you will be inspired and you will learn a great deal from what Tom Curry, the owner, had to say. So, go back and listen to the interview and enjoy it. So, a couple of housekeeping things to a few people that I see. Lene and Frank, I'm sure Frank will be tuning in at any point. I got word from Wisconsin Cheese today that the there's Frank. So, to Frank and Lene, those cheese baskets went out either yesterday or this morning. So please, come on to one of the shows or just DM me and let me know when you receive it. So I'm sure that you actually got what was promised. Teresa, your basket is actually going out tomorrow. Your box is going out tomorrow. I just returned, so I left before I could send it, and I just returned just an hour or two ago. So I will get that out to you first thing tomorrow. Also to Teresa and Roseanne, like these are the only people that are here. These are the people I needed to talk to today. Teresa and Roseanne, I'd like to set up a Zoom call with the two of you so we can talk about the contest that Teresa was inspired to give us information on, which I thought was wonderful. But I want to get Roseanne involved and have the three of us just hash that out a little bit so we can maybe debut that contest next week. So, okay, that's great. And yes, Roseanne, such a great interview. And if you caught any of those pictures in that video that I posted, video was done by Cynthia. And I mean, even when I looked at it, if I hadn't been there and seen those colors, it looked like a painting. It did not look like what we were really seeing through that window. And it was just absolutely breathtaking. So, if you haven't seen the video, it is on my Instagram and it is in, I think it's in short videos, so it should be in the grid. And she just did a beautiful job on those pictures. It was, yeah, that was done by Cynthia. She just did a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job. So, Teresa, give me a thumbs up, and Roseanne, give me a thumbs up if you guys are up for a Zoom call sometime this week, and let's get together. And how many of you are also excited about another Nanny Bubby contest? And so we're going to figure it out, and I think it should be lots of fun. So stand by. So what we're doing today is we're actually cooking. Okay, Roseanne is in. Teresa, how about you? Are you in? And then we'll figure this out. We'll put a couple good heads together, and then we'll bring the ideas to the group in to gather and get some input from them. And then we'll see where we go from there. I had so much fun on Friday. I didn't think I could have any more fun than that until I ended up yesterday at Temecula Olive Oil Company, and it was absolutely, it was so inspiring. He was just so gracious and talented and passionate and educated, and you just can't say enough. So it was just a great day overall. I'm so happy that you all joined me. So what are we doing today? We're going to take some vegetables and we're going to chop them up and we're going to do exactly what he said. We're not going to finish with the olive oil. We're actually going to cook with it. So I initially wanted to use hatch chili vinegar along with the roasted garlic olive oil. Problem was, by the time I got back to Laguna from Temecula, the store was closed, so I wasn't able. I'm going to have to go online and purchase. I was out of everything, but I waited to buy it because I didn't know what I was going to find at the ranch. But I needed to go back to the store to get what I needed. So anyway, we're going to do, instead of roasted garlic, we're going to use fresh jalapeno olive oil today, and we're going to mix that with a little bit of fresh lime olive oil. And then we're going to sweeten it up with a little bit of vanilla fig. There you go, just like that. And then we're making salmon, and we're going to make the salmon with a little bit of the lemon paste that is left over from when I made the condiments with yotam ottolenghi. And we're going to mix this with some fresh blood orange olive oil, which I did get yesterday at the ranch, which was actually a gift from Tom, which I very, very, very much appreciated. And but I'm not going to use too much because tomorrow you want to tune in because Tanya and I are making zucchini blossoms. Hi, Mom. And based on what he told us to do, we're going to fry them in the blood orange olive oil. So I can't wait for that. I've actually never even eaten zucchini blossoms, so I know yummy is right. So I'm very, very excited to do that. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to start with an onion. I think all roasted vegetables really need just a little bit of acid, which the onion or scallions or shallots or anything in that onion family, green onions actually really, really add to it. So we're just going to slice these. I want to make sure you can see this. Let me tip you down just a little bit. There we go. And I just put them in small round slices like this. And then I just slice them in half so that they'll separate. So you make these little pinwheels, and you take them and just whoop, slice them in half. Okay, and then I'm just going to sprinkle them right over on, there's a cookie sheet pan right over here, and I'll show you that in just a minute, but I just don't have enough room, and I don't know why I don't have enough room, because I usually have enough room for everything, but these things are very, very long. So here we go. There we go. So the onions onto the sheet pan. Let me see if I just turn this a little bit. So the onions, because they have a content of a great deal of water. There we go. Can you see that just a little bit better? And that comes into the shot then if I do that. Okay. So, and over here, if you will, there's where all the vegetables are that we're going to be using. So we're going to be slicing the broccoli. I'm roasting it. We've got purple cauliflower that we're going to use. We've got heirloom carrots that we're going to slice up. And we're just going to, I've already sprayed them with a food grade hydrogen peroxide because none of these actually came out of my garden. And they're all washed and ready to go. So with that, let me just show you how to use the cauliflower slicer, which I think this is just absolutely great. So you just put this in, if you can see. It's rounded, so you actually see, and it just cuts the florets really nicely so that they don't go out all over. You know, sometimes cauliflower, and look, they just come out so nice and so whole. And so I'll take the smaller ones and just throw them in, but a large one like this, I'll just slice right down the middle. There we go. And maybe one more time, if you can see that. But this way you're not getting a bunch. So there you go. I've just sliced them. And I love the color of the purple. I couldn't walk past those today. So let's just cut right through there again. Excuse me just a minute. I've got something in my throat. Excuse me. I'm so sorry to do that to you. There was no way I could silence the mic, but I certainly did not want to cough on the vegetables. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to cut this one in half just a little bit. Did Teresa give thumbs up to the Zoom call? Because if she did, I didn't see it. Somebody tell me, did we see it? I didn't see it. So I'll reach out to you, Teresa, via DM, and we'll just set up a time, and we'll just chat. It would be great to see you, and we'll chat up some of the ideas. So I know everybody was in for it. I know Lene said something about barbecuing. I think Heather said something about desserts. So all of that is going to be just, I think that Teresa's idea incorporated all of it. So just a little bit more. I want to use the whole head because I've got an awful lot of vegetables here. We just want to make it look very pretty. Okay, there we go. So tomorrow, as I said, Tanya and I are doing zucchini blossoms, and we both have zucchini blossoms in our gardens. So the key to the blossoms is that you get up very early in the morning, which I do anyway, and you pick them when they all open, because they all open in, they all open in the morning and then they close again. So, okay, there we go. All right, let's see. My mom says, is the purple food coloring? No, Mom, they grow like that. They're purple cauliflower, and there is a golden colored one. It looks like it has been dipped in butter. They have the same flavor. Um, Watching from your hotel room in Yuma, Arizona, which has to be way hotter than Vegas. Okay, let's go for the heirloom heirloom carrots next. Okay, these look beautiful, don't they? Okay, had to catch Nanny, Bubby. Ah, you're so sweet, Lucy. So good to always see you here. Okay, so slicing on an angle and rather thin because you want the carrots to cook about the same time as everything else. There we go. And so I'm thinking that it's not going to be long before I get back in the studio at Channel 8 since COVID is seemingly over, right? Look at these purple carrots, the heirloom carrots. Look at how they're so red on the outside, right? But when you slice into them, they've got this gold center. Isn't that beautiful? Hey, Lisa, how are you? How cute was that guy yesterday? The heirloom carrots actually came from Whole Foods, but you can get heirloom baby carrots at Trader Joe's. So, either place. The heirloom baby carrots I really adore because they're tender enough that they, then you don't have to cut them as thin as what I'm doing here with these because they're just the babies and they're tender. These are just a little rougher. So I'll show you what all that looks like as soon as we get the broccoli in. Just still cutting and slicing. But as I was saying, I think it's not going to be too long before I get back in the studio at Channel 8. And when that happens, I'm not going to be able to run a video of me being on Channel 8 like I do when it's live from my home kitchen. So we'll see when that happens. I have a feeling it could be coming down the pipe soon, but I haven't heard. Okay, so there we go. Done with the carrots. And now I think it's the broccoli that I think I do just a little something different. Hey, Cynthia, everybody was complimenting your video, by the way. I don't know if you were here at the beginning and heard it, Cynthia, but everybody was like, wow, that video is so great. So thank you again. I mean, Cynthia and I call ourselves the Thelma and Louise of Temecula because we go off on these crazy adventures and where we find ourselves, we find ourselves. But yesterday was really just, I don't think that Cynthia, I had a little bit of an inkling, but I am not sure that Cynthia actually knew what I had gotten her into until she got there. And her heart was just so open and she was just came alive when she got there. Cynthia is an artist and a fashion designer, and she had a beautiful children's clothing line. When Harmony was just a little girl, it was Harmony's favorite clothes. Cynthia always gave her these clothes to wear. And so Cynthia looks through the eyes of a camera, I think, in a way that most of us don't. So she's so talented. So do you see the way that I cut these beautiful broccoli? I leave the stems on them because they get tender. Like when you cut them very thinly, they get very tender. So there's that. We're going to throw all these in. Now, again, we are going to be using the Temecula. Hey, Lindsay. So happy to see you. I don't know if you had a chance to watch our show yesterday. Lindsay and I were talking about it earlier in the day. In fact, I was talking to Lindsay on the phone when I was driving there, and I got lost as a result of talking to Lindsay. So it wasn't totally her fault, but nonetheless, I was talking to her when it happened. Okay, so here we go. I know I love that I have people here every day. Those of you who actually we've never met, we've just gotten to know each other as a part of cooking together every day. And then there's those of you who are here just because you're in my life and you love me and you tune in. And I love all the sets of you that are here and all the sets of you that go back a long way, like Lucy. Lucy was my camera girl and my floor director when I did the talk show years ago, and maybe even a little bit of the weather when I converted over to doing the weather. So I'm not sure about that because that would have been working nights. I knew this Halsey farm family in Fallbrook. Oh, there you go. All right, so I just want to put this up here. Let me wipe this off, right? Like Wolfgang Puck says, clean up after yourself. Always. I don't know how to do German accent, sorry. But he was very bold in saying, whatever you do, clean up after yourself before you go to the next step. So, okay, Wolfgang. If I've learned anything from him, I learned all kinds of things from Yotam Ottolenghi, but from Wolfgang Puck, let me tell you, that was a big deal that I had to learn from him. Okay, where's the sponge? Not where I thought it was. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Into the bucket, and then let's start the next stage. So does anybody have any questions about, I know you don't have questions about roasting vegetables today, maybe you do, but about the trip yesterday or about where it was? You know, the ranch tours are free. You could do a tasting. The tastings are great if you're in San Diego or any of their locations, Laguna Beach. You can just go in there and do a free tasting. It really is just the bomb. It's so great. Okay, so this is just, yes, Lucy, you were a part of when I did the weather. So that's how far back I go with Lucy, almost as long as knowing my husband. And Tani is here. Oh, Tani, your comments at the end of yesterday were great, that you were booking a tour and you were going to be part of the club, which was great. It is just great, really. And then you can go online anytime and shop. Okay, so this is what we're doing. We're going to start with a fresh jalapeno olive oil. I do have a second bottle of this. Now, according to him, because I talked to him about this twice, I talked to him about it. Thank you. The purple cauliflower is gorgeous. I talked to him about this before we went on the air, and then I brought it up again about finishing. You know, is this oil just for finishing or is it also for cooking? And he made a really big deal about the fact that this olive oil, and it is pressed in a way in which it is for cooking, not just for finishing. And so today I want to do just that. I want to test his words. And so I'm going to just drizzle this jalapeno olive oil right onto the sheet pan. Look at that. And look at how it rolls. And you know what's really great is now that we learned that process, we know he's not infused the olive oil, but during the pressing, there's actually jalapenos in the pressing of the oil. I mean, that makes you almost want to sneeze. You literally can taste the jalapeno. I mean, the smell is so, so strong. And then we're going to open up the fresh lime. How do you like that? And that's just going to give it a really, really sweet, but yet tangy flavor. With just a little more acid, which I think is maybe needed, as opposed to the onion, which adds a little acid. So remember, we're going for sweet, sour, hot, and I forgot one. There is one other. And salty. Sweet, sour, hot, and salty. There you go. Those are the 4 flavors. Okay, opening this up. Okay, so let's smell this. I can't wait. Okay. Oh, that is amazing. Yeah, it took a minute to open up, just, to hit the air for just a minute, just like wine does. And then, oh, that's just heavenly. Okay, so a little bit of fresh lime. Okay, and then let me grab the salt and pepper. I forgot to get that. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, so here's the salt and the pepper. I'm going to do about a teaspoon of salt and a half teaspoon of the pepper. And then we're just going to toss it right here on the sheet pan. Now, in most circumstances, I always say to make sure that you don't crowd the vegetables on a sheet pan because they won't roast, they will steam. And that is definitely true. But when you're making a lot like this, what you're going to do is let them steam, because there's so much good water, especially in the onions, that they will. Sometimes I think that when you just roast them, they dehydrate just a little bit too much. So there we go. All right. There we go. Okay. So I can separate them, but I really do feel strongly today that I don't want to do that. So the next thing I'm going to do, now that I put the salt and pepper on, and let us sprinkle a little bit of the vanilla and fig. So this is the vanilla and fig balsamic vinegar. And that really, you can smell the fig in it. And I am just going to toss that back. This is going to caramelize. This vanilla and fig balsamic vinegar is going to caramelize right on. And believe me, the caramelization with the carrots is going to be phenomenal. So there we go. All right, that is ready to pop in the oven. And so let me do this really quickly. Let me take this and put it just right over here. And now let me turn behind me and let me show you, in honor of the Temecula Olive Oil Company, I'm going to use the Moroccan spice from there, which is heavenly. And so I'm going to put it on the salmon. So here are two very large fillets. Let me move that back. Okay, that looks great. We're going to put a little bit of salt. There we go. And a little bit of pepper, which is very common. I put in the bottom of this, just in case you wanted to know what I've got down there, I had some leftover vegetable broth, vegetable stock, and I really like to cook my salmon at a high temperature. And hi there, Arlene, nice to see you. And let it sort of simmer into the vegetable stock. Keeps it juicy, especially when I'm going to roast it the way that I am, which is at a relatively high temperature. And I want it to get crispy, but yet stay flavorful. So I always put it, not always, but sometimes very frequently put it into a broth. So here's what I've got. Here's the lemon paste that we made with Yotam Ottolenghi the other day. I'm going to open up this fresh blood orange olive oil. I'm not going to use too much of it because I'm reserving it for the zucchini blossoms tomorrow that Tanya and I are going to cook. So by all means, make sure you tune in tomorrow. I have never made zucchini blossoms, and I am so excited. Okay, so ready? I'm going to take, here we go. I put about 1.5 ounces to maybe 2 ounces. Maybe I would say probably 1 ounce, about 2 tablespoons. Hopefully that is not too much. So we've got enough blood orange left over for tomorrow. I'm going to grab a whisk right here. And I'm going to grab, that is not the whisk I'm looking for. Hold on just a minute. See, I haven't been home for 2 days and I can't find anything. I'm going to use this and this. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take the whisk and I'm going to whisk up the lemon paste in the blood orange olive oil, which I just think is going to be heavenly. And I'm going to take this. You know, he was talking yesterday that with the Moroccan spice, you really, really want to use preserved lemons, which I don't have. But this is the lemon paste is actually preserved lemons, but whipped down into a paste. And this is how we made it. So we're going to take this. Oh my gosh, that fresh lemon paste with the blood orange olive oil. I think it just needs a little dash more. Let me do that. I don't think I'm wasting too much. And of course now, this is going to be blood orange and lemon paste both. There we go. Okay. That is really looking good. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay. And now I am just going to paint this right onto the salmon. You see that? Let's show you this beautiful salmon and not me. So here we go. Right onto that salmon. Just look at that. And on this side. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. There we go. And now I'm going to take the Temecula Moroccan spice, which is so heavenly. It's got cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice, which is so funny because I did my blood work for what I might be allergic to, and the only thing I came out that I was food intolerant to. Environmentally, I'm not allergic to anything. Food, I'm not allergic to. The only thing I'm allergic to is allspice. Isn't that hilarious? And this does have allspice in it. Yep, allspice. Oh, well, I'll live, I think. Okay, so let me grab a teaspoon and we'll sprinkle this on. And here we go. There we go. And we're going to sprinkle it rather heavy because we really want to get that cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice and let's see what else is in here. Mace, rosebuds, and you can really smell the rosebuds in this, cinnamon, ginger, and white pepper. So you really want to give it that flavor. And it's sticking nicely because we've got the lemon paste and the orange olive oil on here. Blood orange olive oil. There we go. Okay. And then, I thought I was going to use it all today. I didn't. And then we're going to take these lemons and we're going to slice them really, really thin. So if you can see this, let me move this forward a little bit so you can get a good shot of this. Just take off the ends. And I'm going to let these lemons literally caramelize while roasting the salmon right on top. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to take these lemons and I'm going to just lay them right on top. Move this now again. Move it back so you can see it. Okay, who is going to eat all that delicious salmon? So, everybody asks me that. So my husband has a really, really grand appetite, I will tell you that. Also, my son is here every night. Also, during COVID, they got rid of their offices, and now the entire team is working from home here. And so not only sometimes when I make big recipes like this that's enough to feed 8 people, it is. But there's Tom's appetite, there's Russell's appetite, there's my appetite, which, by the way, I'm a pretty big eater myself. I just eat large portions. I think it's because next to Tom, they're small portions, but I think they're big compared to other women, honestly. And hey, Peter Guzman. And so not only do we have dinner with it, but tomorrow we're going to have lunch with it. And then if we get busy and it's late in the day, then I'll make a big salad and I'll do a salmon niçoise to go along with it. So this is great. If Harmony and Connor were coming for dinner tonight, this would last for everybody and we could just do one dinner out of it. But for us, we all come down at different times to make lunch for ourselves. Believe me, they're making lunch for themselves. And this is going to go a long way. And honestly, my fishmonger wasn't there today. And so I asked a question and I think I didn't ask it correctly. My fishmonger is confident enough with me that he might have just asked a follow-up question to get clarity. But I was really shocked when I opened the package anyway, Teresa, and saw how big this was myself, because it really is a lot of fish. But I don't mind eating leftovers, and Tom and Russell don't either. So I think we're in good shape. So that's it today. I will take pictures and post them. I just want to remember and remind all of you that tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. Tanya is coming. She has zucchini blossoms in her garden. I have zucchini blossoms in mine. We're going to pick them in the morning. I don't know. Can somebody tell me, when you pick them in the morning, do you need to put them in the refrigerator? How do you keep them so that you don't lose them? I don't know, Roseanne, maybe you know the answer to that. If you want to cook along with us, we'll publish a recipe first thing in the morning. But if you want to shop for that, it is a cup of ricotta, and we're putting in a little bit of dried oregano just to add just a little flavor for the ricotta, salt and pepper. The batter for the blossoms is just all-purpose flour, salt and pepper, and club soda. So either club soda or Perrier, Pellegrino, and some people use beer. So if you have any of that in your house, just, and where do you get squash blossoms this time of year? Maybe Sprouts has them, but maybe you know somebody that you can go pick them out of their garden. But more than that, just about anything. You could fry your zucchini in the same batter and just join us for that. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to learn. And I always say that, let's see, Roseanne doesn't know. I'll have to call Tanya. Judy Woods, let's see, zucchini blossoms are wonderful. Can't wait. Okay. So I'm going to call Tanya and ask her where I put them once I pick them, because I don't know the answer to that question. And she is my cooking coach. Every time I get stuck, I like call Tanya and go, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing. I got myself into a pickle here. And how do I get out of it? And this is what I'm thinking. Do you agree or disagree? And so she just kind of gives me the confidence to know whether to turn left or turn right in the kitchen. And I think that's the best part about cooking with someone is that, so, like when Arlene and I made the stuffed cabbage rolls, right? Arlene had been reading that recipe for a decade or more. She always read it the same way. And then that day I read it and said, Arlene, that is not what it says. And she was called by me to read that paragraph slowly. And she goes, oh my God, this is what I've been doing wrong for over a decade. I've just skimmed over this paragraph thinking I knew what it said, but she didn't. And that changed everything for her. And I know even when I was cooking with my student in West Virginia, I thought it said put the gnocchi in, and when it rises to the top, it's done. But she said, no, Marla, that's not what it says. It says when it rises to the top, then set a timer for 5 to 6 minutes. And I didn't see that. And I had been reading that part of the recipe for years as well. So cooking with somebody, that's why it's just so wonderful. So I love it when I cook with people that are less knowledgeable than me and more knowledgeable, because either way, all of us make those little tiny mistakes in the kitchen, and just having someone there to say, no, I do this instead, or this isn't what it says, changes everything in the kitchen. Our mothers and our grandmothers and great grandmothers, this is how they learned. They passed it down from generation to generation. They all cook together, and that's what makes it such an amazing thing. Remember, I always say that our most basic instinct in life is to feed ourselves and to feed our families and our children. So we should all do it together and help each other grow. So with that, I thank you for joining me today. I especially thank you for joining me yesterday. Oh my gosh. I just took a deep breath I just want you to know, when I walked, I said, well, do you have an idea where you'd like to do this interview? And he said, sure, let me walk you over here and show this to you. And the way that you walk into where those trees were, you don't actually see it until you actually come around the bend, and then you turn and you look and you are like, oh my gosh, I turned around and I looked, and I literally broke down and started crying. It was so beautiful to me, and it was so unexpected. It really touched me. And so I said, is this where you want to do that interview? And he said, yes. And he goes, do you think it'll be all right? I'm like, do you think it'll be all right? Oh my God, can we never leave this place? It was so beautiful. So thank you all for joining me. I could have, just knowing that you were there and knowing that I was talking to all of you who join me every day just made all the difference in the world. So you spread love like butter yesterday to me in such a ginormous way, because I knew you were there, and I really wanted all of you to see this beauty, and so I really hope that you did. Anyway, that's it. Zucchini blossoms tomorrow with Tanya Murray, and I will post this recipe today as soon as I pull it out of the oven. That's it. On the count of three, everybody. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go out and spread love like butter. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.